Sometimes I like them on.
This is Jenni P, your host. Welcome to FemFM, sponsored by the House of Preeminence. This is a very special broadcast today. This is a very timely broadcast because at the moment we are being sucked down, weighed down by the ambience, the atmosphere in the world. It has never been more challenging for you lady change makers to not just find your place in the world and the market, but to rise above it, to transcend what's going on and know that you still are powerful creators. And we're going to be diving deeply into that today with somebody who is preeminently poised to talk about that. It's my great honor to introduce you to, I'm going to put my glasses back on now, to a founder and host of Good Morning La La Land and SOULCIÉTÉ, a new thought minister, which I find super exciting, best-selling author, international speaker, naturally self-made millionaire. Forbes voted her one of the 11 most inspiring feminine entrepreneurs on Instagram, and her glorious mission is to awaken 1 million souls over the planet through the power of love and spirituality. So you are in the right place if all of those things, if you're checking the boxes on all of those and you are still connected to your biggest dreams, your biggest success, your biggest manifestations. We're going to be talking about all of that. And so let me welcome the gorgeous Dr. Erin Haskell.
Oh, Jennifer, thank you so much. So well done. You're so beautiful, such a light. I'm really honored to be here. And do want to clarify, our mission is to awaken 1 billion people on the planet. And how we are going to do that is developing world-renowned spiritual leaders. And that's how we're doing it. So thank you so much for having me. Such an honor.
I mean, I'm rubbish at maths, so I mixed up with my million with my billion.
In the eye of the divine, right? Yeah.
And I know that the Preeminence platform has now got a potential 1 million audience. So we're
done already.
1 billion. 1 billion. Yeah, 1 billion people. Okay, so we really, the world really, the change makers that I see out there, and you must see them as well in social media, valiantly continuing with their missions, with their heart-led businesses, trying to grow themselves, trying to grow their businesses in this context, which is so complicated. And even I felt dragged down the last few weeks. It helps so much to know that we are working with universal principles. And I would love it if you share about these universal principles to remind people that they still are powerful creators.
Yes, thank you so much. And I think it's so easy to, as you say, like a tabletop, right? We try and start moving everything around on the tabletop of the thing called life, but we forgot that nothing's really going to change. So we get way down to the core of the issue, down below to the actual foundation of our life. And we recognize that everything starts in mind, in consciousness. So I think the most important thing, instead of me preaching some whatever, is like, let's just take a deep breath in together. And just tapping into that divine source, that presence that we know is what is creating the outpicturing of our entire life, which is the first cause, which is consciousness, which is our higher self, which is our true self, which is the backing that creates everything into creating heaven on earth or hell on earth, that creates us in the flow of life or creates us in that resistance of life, that creates the abundance or creates the scarcity. It's called universal law, and it's how we manifest and demonstrate. And so I recognize no matter what the chaos is out there, the effect of the collective and everything, we recognize it's all for growth. We're in this masterclass. We're in this thing called life. We're here to be higher than everything that has been created. We get to create something new. And that's why we call it new thought, because in our new thought, we create something new. We get to create beyond our lineage, beyond the circumstances of our life, beyond what's happening in politics, beyond what's happening in all aspects of life right now. I recognize that you are the power, that Jennifer knows she is the power, and every single person watching, listening, reading, whatever is the source, that you always are the cause to create something new in the universe, in your perspective, in all of life. And just so I just say, may we have the most divine conversation here to bring us back to what really moves the needle, which is truth, which is remembering the divine power that we are. So I say yes, the universe says yes, because that's all it does. As together we release without control, without a need to figure out how, we take the one next inspired action. And I just simply say, and so it is.
And so it is.
And so it is.
And so it is. And let's dive a little bit deeper into this this principle that the universe is always listening to us, and the universe is always we don't even have to go into meditation. Is like the universe is always watching and responding. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes. So I know probably majority of the people have watched the documentary The Secret. And for me, when I watched that documentary, I was like, oh yes, this is so amazing, and I go, I'm going to quote, go into manifestation now, and I went to manifestation. I found one of two things, which I think most people found. One is that we either were able to manifest a bunch of stuff and we still were not fulfilled, or we're like, why can't I manifest what I want, right? So we have to understand what's really going on. We recognize that manifestation is not something we do once in a while. Obviously, we're manifesting 24/7. The universal law is us. It's happening 24/7. And what actually is that we're one, as we know, that's the primary principle, that there's only one creative factor, which is spirit, which is the truth of who we all are, that one source. But individually, I get to use that one mind and that infinite source, the I am, and place it into this DNA and this body, which is called the soul, and begin to experience all the dynamics of my limitation. Because if you think about it, how far down the rabbit hole do you want to go, right? Why would we create this thing called life? Why would we create this limitation? Because we're already the omnipotent source. We're already the infinite creator. We want to experience ourselves with this relative fractal inverted through limitation, to have a game to play, to experience and grow in consciousness. So we have to remember that we're out picturing from the limitations of our DNA, and our DNA has basically been our lineage of our ancestors that have placed the power and inverted it out to outside of themselves. And hence we have traumas in our epigenetics. Hence we have limited identity and limited belief. And so we have to realize that only the core work that we do if we want to have great businesses, great relationships, great vitality, is one thing and one thing only, and it is to clear the soul, to clean and reboot this computer system we have called this body, which is what we're doing here. And I know that each person wants to do that, because what does that mean? We have more power, we have more abilities, we have more choice, we have more, availability to innovate and invent and all the above. So it seems like a far off conversation maybe for some, but if we're going to have great success in our business and personal life, we have to do that core work, which I know you know for sure. And so many people that are listening and watching for sure have done so much work.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. So I know that because you understand consciousness and the cosmos and the interplay between the seen and the unseen. And what I was coming to me while you were speaking was how we are now as a people, as a culture, starting to open up more and more to this truth, as you
yes,
said,
hallelujah.
This truth is. But the ancients already had a handle on these principles, didn't they? Some ancient cultures, not all of them.
Yeah, we call it new thought, but new thought movement is ancient thought. It's ancient wisdom, and it's not like we invent electricity. We discover it and we put the elements together to use it, right? Aerodynamics, the laws of having an airplane go up in the air, the laws have already been there. They're there forever. They're everything in the dynamics of how the 3D realm works. We just get to put the elements and we get to put them together exponentially and infinitely to invent on and on and on, right? So we have to recognize that universal law is not something outside of us. Universal law is how we are creating. It's the creative process. We call it the creative process. So the creative process is source, consciousness, pure decision, and and creation actually comes in through, you know, our true higher self, if you will. And then it comes into what we call the subjective part of the creation process. It's the subconscious mind. It's one with the universal law. And that's where all of our limitations are. That's where our belief systems are. That's where our limited identity is. That's where the projection of the energetic ties of our DNA are. And that, so say we say, I want to have $1 million, or I want to have the love of my life, or whatever. And we decide that, but we haven't dealt with neutralizing all that trauma, doing all that work. So then it comes in and then it gets all distorted. You know, we've all experienced that. Like, why am I sabotaging my success? Why am I, you know, calling in a totally unavailable lover? How am I doing? Because it has to come through this kind of sphere. It's kind of like, I always think of like consciousness is like the pure sun. And then all the clouds in between the sun are all your limited beliefs in that subjective mind. And then it projects out, however it projects out. It's like, wow, it's a cloudy day, but there's sun up there. How's that working, right? Because we have to clear out the clouds. We have to clear out that construct that's distorting the true source coming in. So each and every one of us is creating, but we're kind of like, why am I not being able to create this? Or why am I creating it at a way that I never really wanted to create it at, right? So that's how the creative process, that's what we call it.
Yeah. And for your audience and our audience of the, you know, heart-led conscious women entrepreneurs who really do want to make a difference, while they're struggling along this path, or kind of dipping, because it kind of seems to be it seems to kind of, we go up and down, we make breakthroughs, and then we kind of find ourselves get to the next level, and then find another bunch of subconscious things play in. Is this duality? Is it obligatory? Can we leapfrog it?
Yeah, exactly, right. Well, and I do want to clarify that we are, as me or as Jennifer, right? We're not just the individual. We're never just the individual. Our individual use and that subconscious mind is one with the collective, one with the cosmos, right? That's why the planets will play into our moods and into what's going on in our life. That's why, you know, why you're feeling sad when nothing's changed, because the collective might be a little bit more sad, right? So I want to define that soul, there's only one soul, right? So I am connected to you as well, but I also have the individual use of it. But there's a great question. Can we leapfrog this? Can we do whatever, you know? And the thing is, it's kind of like, I like the analogy of when, if you're a mother, or people out there are parents, when you take your child to the jungle gym, you know, you want to have them learn how to climb the ropes and swing on the swing and go up that ladder. But part of the thing for them to do it, they have to learn, they have to skin their knee, they have to do whatever. And so it's kind of like, I think of life kind of like that we're here advancing our consciousness, advancing our abilities. But in order to do that, in order for anything to grow, there has to be resistance. It's a law and a metaphysical law of the universe. And so it wouldn't be fun. It wouldn't be fun at all. There's a great little book called The Game of God. And there's this one guy that's God, and he just goes up the Himalayas in 2.5 seconds. He's like, yeah. There's this other like human, and he's like trekking up, and he's like really slow. He's like, man, this is just so hard. You know, and he gets to the top of the Himalayas, and he's like, yes, victory, you know? And it's like, we say we don't want this game. We say we don't want the limitations, but wouldn't it kind of be boring? Like if we just live forever and like there were no like boundaries or any resistance, like it wouldn't be that fun. Like what would be the point?
Exactly. It's the growth journey. That is the point. The growth towards our divinity. So
the game.
And so embracing all of that is the journey.
That is the journey. Mm-hmm. And to love all of life, like I remember thinking, how do you love life? How do you like love somebody unconditionally? It's the same thing. It's like, well, you have to love all of it. You got to love the dark. You gotta love the crappy times, and you get the good times. You can't just have part of it. So to love life is to love all of life. To love yourself is to love all the, you know, quirks in yourself and someone else. So it's just life. Life keeps lifing. It's fantastic, right? Mm-hmm.
And that is our humanity, isn't it? That is our humanity.
Yeah,
it is good.
But that's the thing, is that even say with the lockdown or anything going on, if we just focus on, there's not just one thing, there's just as many miracles going on as there's hard things going on. There's always, there has to be, we're in a relative universe. So there's as many miracles as there are just devastating things going on this planet. And I think that we have to understand that. And I did a talk at the beginning of COVID. I said, woke people expect disasters, because you can't have the beauty of life and know that there's not also going to be disasters. And so it's really kind of a naive thing to think it's just bad. Like if you're just watching some news, it's just going to tell you all the bad things and think that's the reality of life. You can also equally look and see through the lens, just like a lawyer. I always say it's like a lawyer. You're either going to find all the case, all the proof that something's bad, or you can find all the proof that something's good. And if you take a look at all of life, you can find all of it. And it's just what you want to energize and where you want to expand more in your life.
That is such a key point, that everything is subjective.
Everything.
And that we have the power to change that.
Yeah. And by just what we focus on, period. And
how we respond.
How we do. Yes. I mean, look at what you're doing. You know, you're saying, I'm choosing to help people, you know, grow and awaken and love their life. And it takes constant truth, constant conversation, constant growth, because the masses are in fear. The masses will be the effect of life. The masses will not be able to create beyond their limitations. Okay. So we're talking about, you know, whether it be the 80-20 rule, and then not even out of the 20%, we're going to talk about a very, very top percent, like a 1%er that is going to actually be able to get their mind right and prevail no matter what happens in life. And this is your test. You know, it's each of our tests to say, you said you want to have a great life. Well, you've got to be great to have a great life. You said you want to be a world-renowned leader. Well, it's going to take you to be able to prevail through these hard times. So I always look at like, thank you for the opportunity. I called this BS and I called this insanity because I decided I wanted to be great. And how do you get developed to be a great leader? You got to have great problems to solve. Yeah.
I'm going to drop the mic on that one, because I think it's so important. I totally agree. And where in the process is this decision that, because a lot of spiritual ladies and altruistic entrepreneurs struggle with this, you know, like the level of money, earning pricing enough, you know, thinking that or leaning into the vibration of this greatness that you're talking about, allowing themselves to be as great as, so that the universe can respond to them with abundance. Is there a threshold? Is there a limit?
I love the concept of prosperity and abundance. I think it's such a thing I had to break through. I came from nothing. We went to thrift stores growing up. I could barely put food on the table when my son was born. And then I actually remember the day I became officially a millionaire, and I was like, wait, this is nothing of what I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to be happy. I thought it was going to be like everything, all my problems would be solved, right? And then you start going even beyond that and making more and understanding that money is just a reflection of where you are in the currency of love and the currency of expression. So I think the greatest thing is, well, first of all, the universe doesn't know the difference between a penny and $1 billion. It just says yes, and it just responds to the cause and effect of whatever you're causing, right? So the biggest shift for me anyway in true abundance, because I think that our culture and our world needs to redefine what it means to be wealthy, in that there's a lot of people that may be, you know, multi-millionaires, even billionaires, that could be miserable, right? So it doesn't mean, is it good to just accumulate a bunch of stuff? Okay, I can get like the concept of passive income and being able to have more freedom to do what you want or serve where you want. I get that. However, I think that what actually holds people back from becoming the multimillionaire or having a bunch of real currency and flow with their money is actually the concept of one concept and one concept only. And it is thinking that money is something outside of themselves, that it's something to get. And that is the biggest lie that we've ever been told. That money is first of all, money is worthless. Money is agreed upon exchange of energy. That's all it is. And the real concept and real flow of when I see people really start breaking through with money is when they understand that money is something that's generated from themselves through their innovation, through their service, through them giving to life. And in life, it gives back. So if you want more money, you've got to give value or solve a problem for somebody, basically, right? So money is unlimited. It's unlimited to the extent of how much we're in the currency of giving, serving, and solving problems. And that's the only limitation to money whatsoever. And I think that, again, I think it's more about an exchange than it is about hoarding a bunch of stuff. It's really bizarre because we say the only way you can be disempowered, the only sin, really the answer to everything of life is to no longer place your power outside of yourself. The moment that you place your power outside of yourself is the moment that you actually will experience being disempowered. We are such powerful spiritual beings that the moment that we put a positive or negative meaning on something, we instantaneously will experience a positive or negative experience. Nothing's happening outside of thyself. Nothing is happening outside of thyself. So if you want more money, more abundance, more prosperity, more love, more vitality, you give. You want more love, you got to give more love. It doesn't necessarily come back from that same person. You want more energy and more vitality, you've got to give more energy to the body. Right? If you want more money, you've got to give more value, give more service, solve more problems. And that's how it's done, period.
Yeah. I like to say, be the change you want to see in your bank account.
Yeah, totally. Right. Yeah. So good. So good.
And what of love in this equation? Erin,
sure.
your awakening mission is to so that people can experience not just their spirituality, but experience divine love.
Yes. And I think it's a redefine also. There's something, the stats are really bizarre. I think in America, less than 15% of marriages are happy half the time. So again, our idea of what it means to have love, it needs to be rearranged. And we recognize that all relationships are the reflection and projection of your ability or inability to love yourself. So the primary relationship is always with thyself. And I think that self-love, falling in love with yourself is imperative. Unconditional love with yourself is imperative. Really knowing that no other source can be again, your source of love. Abraham Hicks has a great little 4-minute video on this. I think it's like her primary video on her YouTube. And it says, be uncheatable, uponable. And she said, what we'd like for you guys, because there's this lady and she comes up to the mic and she says, I just found out that my partner's been cheating on me. And Abraham Hicks says, we understand, as she says, we understand that there's going to be all kinds of deal breakers in the construct of relationships. Sometimes it might be someone cheating. Sometimes it might be that someone just doesn't pay enough attention to you, sometimes whatever. But the point is that we would like you to restate your vows if you were ever to really have a partner, saying, my primary love and my primary partners with my higher self. You're actually off the hook. You never have to make me happy. You never have to, do anything to complete me. What my promise is and my commitment is to myself to really be connected with my higher self. So when I show up, I can show up as a whole person and really experience you as the perfection that you are, and that we can, basically synergize together instead of having expectations. So just imagine in a world where someone wasn't afraid of someone cheating on them, that it'd be like, wow, that's really kind of sad for you that you can't be your word, or that you're needing to reach out to get your attention somewhere else, instead of us taking it like something's wrong with me and, and making someone bad and wrong. It's a huge concept. Something I've worked on my entire life, and it's taken me, I used to be totally codependent. And so love is just who I am. I don't need love anymore. I am love.
And that is something that not just entrepreneurs and change makers, so many people struggle with, is to live from a place of love rather than trying to get love. This continues your theme of nothing is outside of you. It's all you. It's all a reflection of you. Mm-hmm. But gosh, I've got so many very, very smart, gorgeous, bright and successful girlfriends who can also slip from that grace of self-love. So you've now made it a way of being,
right?
Just a
Well,
way.
look, and it's not a logical thing that I don't think anyone can do. It is dealing with clearing out the soul, which means doing your trauma work, which we do E4 trauma method, which is really important because it's birthing your truth as well. It's really imperative to get clear and clear out all the trauma work is like the most important thing. Of course, meditation and merging the union of the higher self and lower self for sure, and getting clear of your core values and getting clear of boundaries and getting clear of inventory and doing your amends and all those things that are basics, the foundations of clearing the soul. Because you can say, okay, I'm going to have self-love and I'm not going to need anyone anymore, but you haven't dealt with the energetic trauma and triggers and all that stuff that happens automatically the moment you engage in relationship. So it's not something that you can just, yes, I guess if you had that powerful of a consciousness, you could just decide, but majority of human beings could not do that. So you just got to do that inner work, as we all do. And so every relationship is an opportunity to see where you are in your growth, it's like, and also to birth your truth. And I think we try, as women especially, we try and morph to our partner a lot, whether people are gay, straight, whatever. A lot of the traditional female roles are we should adapt and be who they think they want us to be instead of who we really are. So I think that, and they don't necessarily want that. It's something we have in our consciousness. And I think that when we truly birth who we are, accept ourselves fully and do it unapologetically, then we're able to accept people and expect people to accept us the same, right? I mean, I've tried to change people. I've tried to hope they were different, wish they were different, try everything. It doesn't work. I don't do fixer-uppers anymore, Yeah.
So we are going to be sharing a whole load of resources for people to be able to find out more about your work and connect with your beautiful resources and your beautiful self. Dr. Erin, I got a couple of questions that I love to ask my guests. Is what does preeminence mean to you?
Oh, I love that. For me, it would be definitely faith, not faith of blind faith of what some people think faith is. Faith from a metaphysical standpoint is saying that what is pre-anything, which is consciousness, the pure desire, the pure creation factor. So for me, that is what I would sum up for the word, for sure. I don't know if that resonates with you at all.
It does. I haven't heard that one before. Preeminence is a marvelous word that has at least 15 different definitions in the thesaurus. And I love that one of being a leading up to a preparation. That's a keeper. That's definitely a keeper.
Well, it's like the essence of who you are and whose that's coming out as, and that's really what you're, that's who you are. That's your destiny, is your beingness. And
that's what we're doing, and that's what we're doing in the magazine as well. Is preparing women for their greatness. And as another very, very favorite question that I have is, if tomorrow the President of the United States gave you the biggest megaphone in the world and said, right, you have got five minutes or 2 minutes to say something to humanity that will have an impact. It's up to you. Here's your microphone. Here's your mic, Dr. Erin. It's
sure.
Tomorrow.
I would say two things. One is I would wish for every person on this planet to do their inner trauma work, because if you're a human being, trauma is not a car accident or in war necessarily. Emotional trauma happens because the subconscious mind is programmed through frequency and vibration. And how when we have something that's considered a trauma, we have a high state of an emotional state, and we decide a limited belief of limited identity, and it impinges upon our DNA. It actually contracts the DNA and makes us not be able to be able. So as we do our trauma work, we actually release our DNA, we become more able, we're actually able to read and be able to innovate and do all kinds of things. So doing trauma work for sure. The other thing I would do is I would do a prayer, which is not a traditional prayer to a man in the sky. We do spiritual mind treatment, which is about not getting something, it's about becoming something. And so in this, I would just do this right now, taking a deep breath in through the nose. And just acknowledge right now the power that be, the power that has backing of all of it. And in this, speaking to all of America, into the international globe and one family that we are on this planet, I recognize that we have created some beautiful and terrible things. We have created abundance and innovation. We've also harmed our planet and ourselves and divided our heart and our one mind. And so in this, I am saying this prayer right now because there's only consciousness. And in this, I declare the unity of all of us coming together and working together for harmony on this planet. And in this harmony and in this union, in this love, I recognize and I know right now, I know that whatever we're going through, the birthing pains, I say thank you. Thank you for the breakdowns. Thank you for the wars. Thank you for the suffering, because in this, I know that there's people out there right now that have divine callings, that have solutions. And I call you forth right now. I call you forth to create that platform that helps heal people. I call forth that conscious commerce. I call forth that person that's ready to heal little children that are going through terrible things. I call forth the person that wants to help ending hunger on this planet. I call forth the person that has the innovation for water and everything else. I call forth, you are called forth. This is your divine calling. And right now, I know that it is already done in the divine mind. I'm so grateful for this experience. I simply release this as together we say, and so it is.
And so it is.
And so it is. Mm-hmm.
Good work. Beautiful work.
Yes.
Wonderful.
So good.
Oh, I want to thank you so much for that. That was really powerful. It is exactly what people need to hear right now, is that they are called as well, that they are called, and they're not, and they not just don't have to sit it out and feel helpless until it, until it's all over, because that's not the point that our calling is. So thank you for being the beautiful voice and the beautiful soul who has come onto this platform and shared that message, because I think it's the most important one of all. I'm viscerally connected to people's desires and their calling, so I can't be more connected to that.
Yes,
that call for people to express. So thank you so much, Dr. Erin.
Thank you so much.
And we look forward to our feedback from our audience. We look forward to sharing your resources with people, so that we can be part of this, raising this consciousness, and your mission and my mission, dance partners. So we're
so good. Such an honor, for sure. Looking forward to innovating and creating together, for sure.
Absolutely. So yes, that's it. This is just the start of the adventure.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, my lovely.
Yes.